I'm delighted to be part of Gallery 352, and I'd like to welcome the Mayor to, if he could possibly take these scissors and this step forward and cut the ribbon for the official opening of the gallery. Yes, we're ready.
The Academy Hair and Beauty Salon, well and truly open.
Incubation or incubation units are no new thing. Certainly people can rent offices or workshops, but what is new about Gallery 352 is that it's retail incubation. And that means, you know, if you recognise that in North East Lincolnshire there are many talented people who can produce some fantastic goods and materials either in their back room or in a small workshop, but they can never actually afford a whole retail shop within which to display them. Well, that's what retail incubation does. It provides shelf space in a really professional retail setting for people to be able to sell their goods. It's straightforward enough. They bring us the goods, we put a barcode on them, and we give them the money that they sell at the end of the month.
I would say the main benefit is the fact that you can come in here, rent some shelf space at a reasonable price to see if your business could be a success within the Immingham area, see if the people like it, if it's something of interest, and with an ultimate goal possibly of opening up your own premises in the area.
Well, Efactor, as you may know, is an all-round business support, particularly aimed at people just starting out in enterprise. So we don't just give them a shelf and say, get on with it. We make sure that they've got a plan, we make sure that it's part of a long-term strategy, if that's not too grand a word, to turn what might be a pastime into a real-life business. For example, if we can engineer a group of people who are currently stocking the shelves to come together to form a single business unit, so they all pool their stock and take on a shop of their own, that would be fantastic. That's what we'd really encourage and give them support every step of the way to do.
One of the first things I noticed when I came to Oasis Academy back in June of this year was that we had fantastic potential in terms of our hair and beauty provision, but we were doing it in facilities that were not exactly conducive to getting the public involved. So one of the things that we set ourselves the goal of doing was to achieve what we've achieved here today down Pelham Road, which is basically bringing the Academy out onto the high street. And I think it's hopefully today we'll see a lot more members of the public wanting to access what are some fantastic facilities here.
It's absolutely fantastic for the students and the community. We've now got a realistic working environment which looks like a commercial salon, but obviously the emphasis is on education. It's open to the community, the students think it's great, it's such a fantastic provision that the school's provided for us. So we can now, what we set out to achieve, it's possible for us to achieve it now.
It's been really good because we're constantly busy, constantly on our feet. It's experience.
It's a nice place to come in, they'll be able to have a coffee. I think it's just what we need up this end of the town.
Well, what you're seeing here today is a start. We're not even anywhere near the middle. And what we've got to do is get the reputation out there that there's a place here where you can come and buy gifts. And by the way, individual gifts that you won't be able to buy anywhere else. So anybody who comes in here, I hope, will walk out with something that they didn't think they'd buy when they first came here, then go tell somebody else what they've just done, and other people will turn up, and eventually it won't be as popular because we're not as big, but it'll be something like Brick Garden Centre, which 10 years ago was just a garden centre, and now it's packed every day of the week. And we just want word of mouth to get around, and so people can start fulfilling a dream, really, because they're making most of this stuff at home. Turn it into a business, and then turn it into a living.
For the Efactor to offer this incubation period, I think for new businesses is fantastic because you get the opportunity to see how your work progresses, whether people like it, whether they want to buy it, and then you can kind of take it from there. And if you wanted to start your own units up after that, I suppose that gives you a good gauge of where you want to be.
If they do decide to move on, then we would help them locate the premises. We'd talk to them about what's involved in taking on a premises, make sure that they're not taking on too much and taking on things that they can't afford. We then sit and work out a business plan for them and give them a support for at least a year, probably more than that onwards, to make sure that they're not just setting themselves up in business, but they're setting themselves up in a business that will last, because that's the key.